microphone's back on. Holy moly, welcome back to the Krown Crypto channel. It's a nice little Tuesday over here, nice little Tuesday live stream as we get ready for this one because Bitcoin has now erased. It's erased the Trump pump, turning it into the Trump dump. Unfortunately, what goes up must come down, as the saying goes. Anyways, I have several notes over here. I have several things that I wanted to follow up on. I also want to touch on the more high-term time frame case. And of course, we'll go over the low-term time frame as well, just kind of picking up from yesterday's analysis. But I should let you know, this particular stream is going to be a little bit more on the shorter side. Recently, we've been doing like 2-hour long streams. This one's not going to be 2 hours. I'm actually feeling a little bit under the weather myself today. I woke up with like my throat feeling some kind of way, like I was visited last night while I was asleep and not in. Elsa says someone's penis. Yes, that's right. Yours, you fucking dirty heathen. Anyways, there's plenty of things to talk about today. I'll give it some time for people to join on in as well. But of course, you know, this week is one of those weeks where where I am reminded that while I actually did vote for Trump, I actually don't necessarily enjoy his presidency. Let me explain why. Because he fucking tweets, and when he tweets, the market moves, and that just throws a whole fucking spanner into the works when it comes to analysis as to just one more thing to pay fucking attention to. Of course, there's always something, but yeah. Anyways, yesterday and today, or I guess it was Sunday and yesterday, were probably the worst offenders, to be honest. But of course, with the crypto summit coming up on Friday as well, you know, I'm looking at this, you know, the rest of this week is kind of going into a bit of a holding pattern based upon that, and everyone's going to be playing the same game that they were before yesterday's event, which was, okay, I'm going to buy into the announcement. I'm going to hold into the announcement. And then when my hopes and dreams are not verified by whatever the announcement is, because, well, it, it wasn't about that to begin with, aka investment does not necessarily mean we're getting a crypto reserve, then price typically runs in the other direction. But it's a long week left to go, of course, and with Bitcoin already back down below the monthly low, I do think that it is in a bit of a precarious place here. So, yeah, like I said, we'll get into the actual analysis soon enough. But I do want to. I do want to read some of the comments over here. What's up, Mr. Nimbo? He says, you really can't trust a tranny when they try and sleep. Kenya. Oh, Kenya. I probably shouldn't just blindly read these comments because that is certainly going to get me removed from the YouTubes, but that's all right. I'll go back to selling myself for corns. Anyways, big league rugs. Yeah, man. Let's pretend this is a retest. It's Maximilian Crunchyroll. That's exactly right. It's just a retest. Just a retest of my 200 simple for the fourth time in the past, I don't know, a couple weeks now. Not great, but I like it. It bounced the last time, so it'll bounce this time as well. Anyways, people that hodl eggs drive sedans. I don't understand what that means, to be honest. My corns are gone, says Joe Harrell. You were also visited last night by some intruder. You should check your throat as well. Kidding, man. In for the Krown OnlyFans. That's right, man. If this goes bust, oh man, it's on to OnlyFans. That's my only chance. That's my only hope in life. Shit, even if I did OnlyFans, I'd still do crypto analysis on this side. I know that I have some sort of mental disorder, definitely OCD, something like that, because if I don't make a video per day, I feel like I haven't worked out for the day. I feel like I haven't brushed my teeth for the day. It's just a fucking ritual at this point, really. Anyways, Ram Power says I buy Bitcoin every Wednesday automatically. That is called one form of DCA. Quite nice. Works pretty damn well in bull markets. Not as great in bear markets, of course, but I guess you'll have your chance tomorrow. I guess you'll have your chance tomorrow. And hey, I don't hate buying after a nice move like that if it is going to be like long-term spot holdings. In fact, that's maybe something that I should speak a little bit more of, because I've been getting a lot more into more longer-term investing for myself. And I just have a blind rule with Bitcoin. I have a blind rule with Bitcoin that for my spot holdings, the ones that I'm, really thinking 10, 15, 20 years down the road, I'll just buy every 15% downside move for Bitcoin and just put it into my spot holdings. And, I don't expect it to be an immediate profit or anything like that, but in a few years, sure. That's kind of the way that I think and what I've evolved to, for more long-term investing. But the thing is that going from being a trader to a long-term investor is actually, it's more difficult than what I would have thought. There's a lot of lessons to learn. And honestly, I have a great amount of respect for, the legendary investors across the world, because it is not a fucking easy game. In fact, I don't know if I'd say it's harder than regular trading or day trading, but it definitely weighs on you in a certainly different way. I mean, it's very hard to keep your what's the word I'm looking for, conviction. When you get shit like this, where it just goes sideways, like that's really the worst thing. It's really the worst thing, at least in my experience. So yeah, let me take my my little pill over here. It'll make it so that my hair doesn't fall out as fast, which is already happening anyways. So buying before the Trump talk, it's. I mean, I think you already had your chance for that, to be honest, but. It's always a difficult game when you play the news cycle, because sell-offs in many cases can occur like a day or two before the event, sometimes a few hours before the event. It's very unclear, or in some cases it waits until like the very end of the event itself and then dumps off. It's very difficult to kind of time those things. That's why I don't really keep it in my repertoire as things that I really pay attention to, because it's just subjective at the end of the day. How's the hair transplant? The part that got transplanted is doing very, very well. The rest of my hair that was fine a few years ago is now falling out at an ever increasing rate, it feels like. So I'll have to get another one probably at the end of this year, do one more. And then if it falls out again, all right, fuck it. I can live without my hair, or maybe I'll have like a wig or something bullish on finasteride. It doesn't really seem to be working too well for me, to be honest, man. I don't even think it's really slowed it down that much as well. Red X says, Krown, forget the crypto for a second. Think about your balding homies here. What are you taking? Finasteride. And yeah, to be honest, I do understand for many people it's really effective. It's probably the best pill that you can take that will help not necessarily prevent your hair loss, but certainly slow it down. For some people, it brings their hair back. It's possible. It just depends how deep into the process you are. Like if your hair has been shedding and balding for a long time, it might not do anything actually. But yeah, other things that I've used are minoxidil and what's the other one? Nitzerol, the ketoconazole, I think it's called. Again, I really, I mean, those things, I don't know if they do all that much, and they make my hair just really fucking gross, honestly. So yeah, man, I think really the only realistic way is a hair transplant right now, and then hopefully in the future they actually really do solve it, because you always hear, hey, the cure for male pattern baldness is just 1 year away, but that has not been true for the past 10 years, unfortunately. So yeah, have you tried dutasteride instead? No, I haven't. Finasteride stops boners. I mean, it depends how high your DHT levels are before you get on. If your DHT levels are super fucking high, then no, it's not going to stop them. In fact, I think it only stops boners in like less than 5%, less than 1%, somewhere around there. Very low probability. Very low probability, although not impossible indeed. Mexican Righteous says, I heard Turkey is the best country to go for a hair transplant. 4,000 plus free hotel stay. Look into it. No, man. Well, first off, you have to go to fucking Turkey. Second off, you have to go to Turkey. Third off, you get a Turkish doctor who might not speak English as well, so we can't communicate as well. I don't fucking live in the country, so if there's any complications, which certainly do happen, you have to go all the way back to fucking Turkey. And then from what I hear, there's plenty of horror stories from people going to these Turkish shops wanting a bit of a discount. And realistically, when you add up all the flights and everything, is it really that much different? I mean, I understand that every dollar counts, but, I think peace of mind is probably worth the extra price. That's just my opinion, at least. Vitamin C and saw palmetto daily is what you need. Well, I got the vitamin C part, so we're good on that. I just glue my hair on. I just glue hair on my head. That's what I should do. Just pull it off my back and glue it on my fucking head. Good enough, man. Good enough. Balding, a symptom of an unhealthy lifestyle, sleep, nutrition, excess metals. There are people who just go bald, man. And like, I love the health experts that think that they know literally fucking everything. It's like, look, you can do everything perfectly. Sometimes you just have the fucking gene. It's in your genes. Look, your genes can comprise everything of your body physically. Like, why do people not?
He's trying to say you should be a vegan.
Oh, he's trying to say it should be vegan. Oh, Jesus. All right. So he's just gay. There's no problem with that. I'm just not a vegan. Don't like it. All right. All right. Chiefs clapping you, man. Yes, indeed. Clapping them cheeks, as YG Bodybuilder would say. Wow, if you know that reference, holy shit, we go back 20 years at this point. Holy shit. Anyways, clapping them cheeks, yes. I think we should probably get into the analysis here. Let me just set up my chart so we can flow this one through. But like I said, I'm feeling a little bit under the weather, so I don't know if I'm. We'll see where I fuck this one up. All right. Let's start it off over here. In yesterday's video, we were looking for a likely retracement of the Trump pump. Just anytime that there is a news-based event, it's always a skeptical thing, at least for myself. And in this case, we do see that the 6-hour hidden bearish divergence wasn't certainly confirmed. And we did indeed get a full retracement and a plus sum, actually, of the Trump pump, which began on Sunday. Now actually trading a decent amount below there, with Bitcoin resting on that white moving average. That's a 200 simple. I should denote that Bitcoin did also initiate hidden bearish divergence on the daily RSI. I didn't catch this one yesterday, but indeed it has, especially with its current positioning. And so while I don't love shorting into the 200 simple moving average, in fact, I don't love shorting in this particular instance of the market cycle all that much, I would be having an overall downside bias still for Bitcoin to maybe make a slightly new low. Let me explain why I think Bitcoin's going to make a slightly new low, because it is based off of a very, very specific signature that we've seen on this indicator right here. This is the Joule indicator, one of our momentum oscillators that we have. And I want you to analysize with me where the key moving components of this indicator are right here. One, the fast moving portion of this oscillator, the blue/cyan portion, is below 25. So very, 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 very low. And then two, we have the green background. So that is a signal as well. When these two things are combined, which we have seen many times over the years, although, doesn't happen super often, but when it does happen, it is usually a really good indication that Bitcoin is going to have a pretty big bounce. But first, as you can see right here, a perfect example, Bitcoin likes to come back down to the lows, and in many cases actually below where the signal initially first fired off. So, in this case, you can see from 2023, fired off right here, comes down a little bit lower. This was during a bull market, by the way. And then, of course, in this instance, that was the low. I also happen to remember that this particular instance was also accompanied by a hash ribbon SPY signal. So, that would also look good to me if Bitcoin did start to print that. But it took time. It took a long time. I mean, this one took a very, very long time. I don't think that this particular iteration that we're on is going to take as long. In fact, I went over in yesterday's video that I need to revise my high-term time frame idea that Bitcoin's going to spend, 3 months going sideways and maybe a little bit down, because I think that we're going to be getting a move sooner than that. Sideways before moving down. But in this case, I'm going to be wrong on that. The reason why I'm going to be wrong on that is weekly and monthly BBWP. Elsa just is having a laugh party in the background. It's very distracting. I don't like it. But weekly BBWP coming off of the lows right here. I mean, whenever volatility is this low, it is set mathematically to expand. It's very unlikely that it's going to stay this low for forever. You can see the last comparable iteration was actually about a year ago in June. And that was, before obviously the last monumental move. Again, it took a long time. And then also the monthly as well, also at multi-year lows. So, it wouldn't take too much to get a big move out of Bitcoin. I think before the end of March, I can't really see it staying down there too much longer. And as it stands right now, I do still lean towards Bitcoin making a slightly new low, maybe not super low, maybe not like super lower than where it currently is. But here would be my sort of line in the sand for just retaining a short-term / medium-term bearish bias. It's very simple. Whenever you have a very important swing high like we saw yesterday, which is, by the way, exactly where you would be expecting that bull trap to be coming in around, that's a good pivot point, meaning that as long as Bitcoin's below there, I'm just generally going to have a short-term / medium-term downside bias. Again, I don't think Bitcoin is going to go like super far down from here, at least on this move. But as long as that condition is met, as well as the hash ribbons indicator condition, as well as the jewel condition, as well as a few other things as well. I'm not interested in taking like long-term long positions. So yeah, anyways, moving on from there, I did want to go over once again the higher term time frame stochastic momentum, because that obviously needs to be viewed in combination with everything else that we are looking at right now. And when we started off, let me actually go to CME right here. When we started off with the 5-day time frame is not looking too strong. I do think this one will eventually test around that green moving average, which is a 55. And this one showing downside momentum as long as Bitcoin's below 10,000, sorry, not 10,000, 106,000, 106,500. By the way, I should also go over the 3-day as well. 3 days also going to be showing downside below 91.1. The weekly is going to be showing downside if it can load. I can almost assure you it will be showing downside as long as Bitcoin's below 105. The 10-day time frame is also going to be showing downside as long as Bitcoin's below 97. The bi-weekly time frame is also going to be loading, but it will be down. I can already assure you, indeed it is, as long as Bitcoin's below 100. And then the monthly, as we already know, this one is also down freshly and breaking below the critical bull control zone. As long as Bitcoin's below 102,200, and this is also going to be coming on bearish divergence as well as bearish divergence from the monthly RSI. So we got stochastic and RSI bearish divergence. Now, this is like not a super problematic drive of divergence for me, just because it's not like a super exaggerated differential like you saw back here in 2021 between this high and this high. I mean, that was significantly worse, but in this case, it does make me really consider that Bitcoin could have another, one more washout move to the downside. And then, of course, we'll get into two more one of them is going to be new or kind of new or bringing it back up, I guess. But the monthly HPDR, I mean, this is not really what you want to see happen. at least in the short term, because that is a rejection of the median. The median is where my cursor is currently on right now. Bitcoin rallied up just about perfectly to there on the Trump news and then dumped like in the same day, it felt like, honestly. So theoretically, I would be having a range over the next month between, the median, which is 93.5, or basically this month's high, versus the bottom sort of the 38.2 level. Now that's a little bit lower than what I would hope Bitcoin goes. I hope Bitcoin doesn't go, really much below $70,000, because that really calls into question like the greater market cycle for myself. But, Bitcoin could easily come down here, have like a short-term breakdown. Everyone gets super, super scared, myself included, and then pops back up, does something like this and then sets it up for an end of year rally. Does that end of year rally make a new all-time high? Does it make a slightly lower high? I don't fucking know, but I would still keep my sort of hopium alive for that, because when we go over, actually, I'll go over the hopium at the end of this video. But before that, I want to bring up something that I know is going to piss people off, but just fucking listen. So here is the Bitcoin March open to low data. And we can see that even during positive closing marches, on average, there is a 7% difference between the open of the month and the low of the month. So even if it closes positively, you still kind of expect, a greater low than what it is right now. For reference, that average being 7%, well, thus far, we've seen a 2.5% move from the open of March. If Bitcoin were to go down 7%, where would that put Bitcoin? That would put Bitcoin at $78,000. And then, of course, that's in the event that it's a positive closing March. If you do have a negative closing March, it's actually closer to 20%. Again, these are averages. There's going to be variance within these. Obviously, you can see it. But 20% down would put Bitcoin, up very high 60s, very low 70s, something like that. And again, just to explain this, I do think that most people really understand this data and understand averages, hopefully at least, or at least it would seem like that to me. But for the people who don't, for the the comment that I'm going to get, like, why do you use these stupid statistics? Why do you use these stupid statistics after they failed in February? It's like, you fucking unthinking moron. Let me give you an example. If you were a soccer player, I'm using soccer as an example here just because, well, most people play soccer, I guess, so they'll understand. And let's say you have Messi, a great soccer player, and he has like a 60%, every time that he shoots a goal, he has a 60% to actually make that goal. And then let's just say he had one game where he didn't make any goals, but he took 10 shots. Is he never going to score again? No, of course not. I mean, these are averages worked out over the long term. But yeah, anyways, okay, now I'm going to go into some doomium. No, I'm not going to go into the doomium. I'm going to go into the hopium. All right, let's go to the hopium. So here's why I do still struggle to like entertain the real possibility of Bitcoin putting in a bear market here. And it comes down to a couple of very simple charts. Here's the yearly chart. The yearly chart for Bitcoin is, I mean, it's about as clear as day. It doesn't necessarily look to me like this is a top, at least as it stands right now, or it's going to take like a long time for this one to really get confirmed as like a real top, even if it was going to be right fucking here. I could easily see a move down, somewhere close to that red moving average, and then Bitcoin, has at least a nice bounce from there. But I'm just not going to be, I'm just not going to be bearish as long as Bitcoin is, above those pivots at minimum. The 6-month time frame also rather interesting here too. I mean, it just looks like continuation to me. Can it come back down and fill around upper, very high 60s, like $69,000 to $72,000? Yeah, but that would just be a reconnect, and we see a reconnect on just about every 6-month time frame here. In fact, there's only one time we've not seen that. That happened in 2021, and Bitcoin did reconnect with it the next month after. I look at that as very, very likely to happen. Now, of course, reconnects can happen in two ways. One, Bitcoin comes all the way down to meet it where it's at right now, or two, Bitcoin just goes up so fucking much that it pulls it up to meet its low. Or you can get a combination of the two as well. So, theoretically come down to like low 70s, then close the 6-month time frame, which ends in June, obviously, decently up, and that would probably fulfill the actual reconnect condition there. So, yeah, that's just a very simple reason why I refrain from getting like fully bearish here, at least for right now. But just because I'm not saying that it's like a bear market doesn't mean, again, I'm just blindly buying right here or anything like that. No, obviously not. Again, there are two things at minimum that I need to see in order to entertain the possibility and probability of Bitcoin putting in a major low that is, I think, investable long term. Are you late? I think Elsa's late. Anyways, one of them we already went over, which was the hash ribbons indicator signal, which has not fired off still. Until this fires off at minimum, I'm not interested in long positions. Yes, I am going to miss the literal bottom of this current move wherever it might be happening, but I'm more than happy to wait for a confirmation of this because I'd much rather trade the confirmed reversal rather than a potential reversal. And until this really happens, it's just the probabilities are against you until we get that buy signal. So that is one of the major preconditions for me to, get tradably bullish again in the short/medium term. And then, of course, I need to see that coupled with the daily Joule signal that we looked at over here. Again, that one's actually already in place. So you could argue that this one or this condition would be met if we saw that hash ribbons indicator fire off, anytime within like the next couple weeks. Possible, I suppose. And then what would be another thing? I could see either this condition or bullish divergence on daily RSI would also make me rather interested in at least trading a bounce, alongside those other signals. And then, of course, the daily silver cross, which is really where we started to get bearish on this channel in the short term. That was admittedly right here on Sunday, the 23rd. And as long as these two moving averages are down, that yellow and green moving average, long-term uptrends are like literally by definition impossible. So yeah, it's going to take some time. It's going to take some time. And, as of right now, I do think that downside's a little bit more likely. We'll see if there's a ever so slight, but possible opportunity for Bitcoin to actually put in a low right here at the 200 simple. If Bitcoin were to really reverse, like I said, it needs to get back above Sunday's high. If it can do that, you will already confirm bullish divergence, but you'd confirm a reversal right here. That'd probably be good enough for me. But yeah, that's where I'll end things on today's video. We'll continue on with the live stream. Of course, if you're watching this at a later time, you can like and subscribe because then it'll tell you when the live streams are and you can join on in the fun in real time. Very nice, very lovely. Okay, I'm down 100K, says K. I'm down 100K. 100K what? 100K what? Yes, it is a potential rollover. Trump speaking on Friday. Don Jr. tweeting, buy every dip. Yeah, man. Trump and his family have had a lot of accusations of being corrupt and everything. And I just have to say, I don't know if they are corrupt or not, but they definitely don't do themselves a fucking favor by tweeting that. It just looks so bad. It looks so bad. Like, that looks bad. The fucking Trump meme coin looks just awful. The Melania meme coin looks even like 100 times worse to me because it's like we didn't just do it once, we did it twice and like a day apart. Again, I voted for him, but I don't like everything that he's done. I'll put it that way. I definitely don't like everything he's done. So yeah, if Krown calls a 72,000 invalidation, it will wick down to 67 in 1 day. Sometimes that happens, man. Sometimes that happens. Anyways, Krown is a used car salesman with a clip-on tie. Yes, that's exactly right. Giving you statistics is the worst possible thing to possibly do, in alchemist's minds. Very, 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 very beautiful. Anyways, obviously a good thinking person. Krown, can you tweet or daddy, can you tweet this? Yeah, man, that it really did feel like his son. I think it was either Don Jr. or Eric Trump, whichever one. I don't know. Took his fucking phone, took Trump's phone, and was texting on his behalf. It's like, Jesus, man, what the hell? We need a blue dot to save us. Yeah, I'd like to see the blue dot. That's where I start to become a lot more interested in those long positions. So, until that happens, I do have to lean short-term / medium-term downside. So yeah. No, Eric Trump. Thank you for specifying, Nikki. By the way, good morning to you as well. Indeed. It was definitely Barron Trump, maybe. Who knows who it was? Doesn't really matter, I guess. Moi. Else is leaving right now. I'll read a few more of these. Actually, let's get into the super chats here, and then I'll read a few more of these. Like I said, this live stream is going to be very short today. Compared to what it usually is. My throat's kind of fucked up, to be honest with you. But we'll start it off with Steven Schickman. As always, he is number one, and he's looking at Doggy Weekly. All right. Can't promise you have many good things to say about this. And I would say it's in a significantly worse place than Bitcoin, and also makes me a little bit more fearful for Bitcoin to see it already retracing all of last week's gains. Bitcoin's not too far behind in this case, but you can see it is below the 200 simple, using it as resistance, as a rejection there on hidden bearish divergence with all major moving averages in a bearish posturing. So don't like it. Similar thing to Bitcoin. Look, if it traded back above that Sunday high, all right, I'd get bullish, reversal. That looks great. But I do think that's a little bit unlikely here. That is what, like a 20% move? Yeah, 20% move from where it's currently at. Let me just double check that, or a little bit more than 20%. I revised that statement. It's 25.5%. 25.5% fucking move from there. Jesus, man. Anyways, yeah, overall, similar to Bitcoin, I have to lean to the downside on this one at least. Probably at least another retest of the 21 from last month. That's just under 18 cents, so not super far away from where it's currently at. When I look at something like this, It hurts my it hurts my soul, sir. It hurts my soul. I do think it's not going to break down like here. So retest that low. Try for a bounce, try going sideways, but I also can't get bullish as long as it's below 24 cents. But above 24 cents, okay, you got a reversal, should run up quite a fair bit, probably 33, 35 cents. It's a big move from that position, but yeah. It's in a precarious place, similar to Bitcoin. It's like I have rules not to short into regions like this, like a quarterly major moving average, like the 5 exponential here. I mean, I'm not going to short into that, Is it suspect? Yes, it is, because there is literally potential for, not even hidden bearish divergence, but regular bearish divergence here, as the RSI on that last quarterly move to finish 2024 did make a lower high. Jesus, man. Fucking ugly. We'll see. Of course, if Trump makes an announcement that Doggy Coin is included in the Bitcoin reserve, then it's all good. It's all fucking good. That shit also got me too. Like, I thought it was a joke when Trump tweeted that initial tweet, and he included Cardano, XRP, and what was it? Maybe it was Solana. It's like, really? Like these ones? Like these ones? Sir, if you include this in a fucking strategic reserve, you understand that the creators of these coins can literally print infinity of them. Like, they can literally print infinity of them. Thus, we have thus our strategic reserve is not so strategic, is it? Yeah, not the best idea in my opinion. I think Bitcoin makes sense. Maybe one or two others that have already proven themselves, but you don't want to be including these ones. That's just my take. Anyways, we have Justin Myers next. He's looking at coin. Guys, again, I have to warn you, I'm not going to be doing this live stream for super long, so don't send in your super chats this time. Is what I'd say. I'll get through as many as I can, but yeah, it's high probability that I will miss yours. Anyways, let's go to coin. Where's my coin? Where is my coin for real? There it is. 205, 206. Yeah, this is another one where it's like it's right at the fucking position where I'd have to change my mind. That yellow moving average, the 21, basically where things are at right now at $200. As long as it's above there, yes, there is a potential, there is a shot. I was certainly bullish on coin all up into last month before it closed below 250. That's kind of a big deal to me. So I'm trying to make a bullish excuse for this thing. So let me try to figure something out for you. I mean, it is in a bouncy area right now, so at least there's that. But I guess give it a chance to bounce. Again, I'd want to see this one above Monday's high. If it can get back above Monday's high, close a daily above there, I guess it still has a shot, still has a chance. 270, 280 is where I'd be looking for after that. But I don't like how the monthly is kind of breaking down here. Also on bearish divergence, like either this is the low or it's going much lower. That's kind of the picture that I'm being painting right now. Yeah, maybe that's even the better way to say it. I mean, technically on the higher term time frames, I do have to lean a little bit lower. If it can reclaim Monday's high, that would make me at least hopeful. But higher term timeframes are on major supportive regions, but like these are breakdown sort of indications here. So I don't like to front run these breakdowns, but it's very fucking possible in this case. And just for full disclosure, I do own coin. I've owned it since way back on over here at about $80. I have shaved off a little bit, but I'll have to shave off a little bit more if it really does start to come below 200. I'll put it that way. Anyways, Stefan Milosevic says, good morning, sir. Good morning to you, man. Thanks for the live streams. All good, man. I appreciate that. CVNA. Okay. CVNA. All right. Carvana. What is this? Another one that looks to me like it's hit a major swing high here. Yeah. I think that this one's hit like a major swing high. Let's see if it hit a major fib as well. I mean, this has been a pretty epic rally. No, it's above everything. So fair enough. But I do think that this one can easily pull back down at least to the open of January, which was $200. So that's about a 10% move from where it's currently at. If things get really crazy and it actually has a full breakdown below the January lows, I'd be looking somewhere around 150 to 155, somewhere around there. But I wouldn't necessarily count on that right now. I just think another short-term downside move and probably tries for a bounce somewhere around 200, maybe slightly below 200, but somewhere around 200. And then come back to it after that. Yeah. I do think that this one has found a nice swing high here, though. What would make me bullish, I guess? Need to see a monthly closure above, what would this be, 270? Until then, I'm looking for this one to play out a retracement after basically being fucking vertical. Fucking vertical since November of 2023 with nearly zero pullback. So, yeah. All right. Long-term buying opportunity. If you're, if you're intent on holding this thing for like many, many years, I do think that you will get it, but I do think it's going to be lower and it's going to take a long time. And you're probably looking, somewhere between 125 to 150 is kind of where I'd be having my eyes on, at least for right now. Crypto Shart says Litecoin Bitcoin on the 1 millisecond chart or the daily. You make it very difficult to choose. Let's look at the daily. And what do you expect for Litecoin? Litecoin is going to be down literally for forever. Literally for forever. It just goes down versus Bitcoin. It continues to trend towards zero. And I see no reason why it will not continue to trend towards zero, as this has been a over 12-year trend now. Over 12 years of just down, down, down. Yeah, I think it's actually even topping out where it's at right now. If it can come back down below the last 5-day low and close below there on the next 5-day, which comes in not tomorrow, but the day after that. So that'll be Thursday. Yeah, that'll be Thursday. And that is about, 1,200 Satoshis. Then I would say, yeah, you have your next swing high. This thing very likely comes back down close to the lows, below 1,000 Satoshis. Again, going to take time, obviously. I know you asked about a daily specifically, but I think the higher term time frames are a little bit more obvious on this one than the daily. I mean, I guess the daily is breaking down here as well. Many drives of bearish divergence on the daily. So next short-term move likely to the downside. Doesn't necessarily mean Litecoin versus the dollar will go to the downside, but Litecoin will lose more value compared to Bitcoin, at least is what I'd be betting on there. Looking at the quarterly, I mean, the problem is with these things that it really wouldn't take too much to get a pretty epic bounce. I mean, this thing has been known to have epic bounces. They all fail, of course, but an epic bounce is an epic bounce. Shit, man, if it got up to like 2,500, that would kind of be par for the course on this thing. All right, I am without Elsa right now, so I actually can't see much. I'm going to try to dig up some of those prior super chats, but like I said, today's going to be a shorter stream, and I'm not operating at full capacity, so I'll get to the ones that I can. I see PKM. He says Terra USDT weekly or even monthly. Well, hopefully there is enough data for both of those time frames. Let's see. Actually, it looks like there will be. Let's go to start here. Okay, let's go over the daily range. Boom, right there to your highs, but not really seeing obvious lows. 5-day, weekly. I'm looking for obvious signals here. The problem is you do have a weekly high or low, so I guess it does kind of have a chance here. The monthly hasn't had like a full breakdown yet. In fact, it even had a green February, which almost nothing did. So that's interesting. But still, I'd want to see it really above, what is this, 1 cent? Yeah, 1 cent. That would make me very interested in calling, like a real breakout on a monthly closure. Or if you're using a weekly, I would say it needs to be above about 120. Just to be safe. At that point, should pop back up and retest around your, 2021 highs or November 2021 highs at about 2.5 cents. So, pretty fucking big move there as well. But I don't like playing things in the middle of the range, and this thing is in the middle of the range, or at least the weekly range. So, and it did just sell off on the top side test of it. So usually things will come down at least to the middle of the range after that. And let's see where the middle of the range is and see if it has already hit there. And it did last month, but I do think that it will hit there again after that rejection. And that is a little bit above 0.5 cent. So yeah. It is interesting to see that this one did close February green, where almost nothing did, which I guess is kind of a signal in and of itself. But I'd give it a chance. I'd look at that as, like at least somewhat hopium right there. So yeah. Anyways, we have Anthony J next, says Mog and Frog. Mog coin. Not good. Let's look at the real chart. Also not good. Even worse. Also not good. Just like when I talk about any shitcoin, or especially meme coins, there can be bounces along the way. The bounces can even, they can certainly come out of nowhere. They can certainly be really fucking nice bounces, definitely tradable bounces. But overall, the direction is down. Overall, I think that this one's topped out for this cycle. Even if Bitcoin were to get an end of year rally, I don't think it would make a new high. I think it just put in a lower high here and then come back down. And I could say the same thing about most meme coins and just shit coins in general. Basically anything not named Bitcoin. And I say that as I'm like a 99% Bitcoin maximalist, for better or worse. Okay. Although I don't judge people for their decisions, but in terms of charts, yeah, I believe this one's topped out. I do think you will get a pity bounce just by the virtue of the virtue of retesting a very important prior low from May of 2024. But I don't think that's going to be the bounce that brings you to new all-time highs and beyond. I think, at best, like best case scenario, it could come up maybe somewhere around here and then come back down. Long term, this thing will retrace everything and will at minimum get back down to your all-time lows. And if it's a strong one, it won't make new lows at least. but I do think it will retest those lows at some point. The question is timing of that though. So yeah. And even in the short term, if it did have a bounce like to the red or yellow moving average, either one of these is fine as well. It doesn't do anything for it in the long term. It would just be a bearish retest. Guys, I'm gonna warn it again. Just I feel really, really bad when I miss super chats, and today's video is going to be shorter, and I also don't have Elsa to send them to me. So if you're sending them over, please bear with me because I'll do my best, but it's possible that we don't get to all of them. Fast, Easy Cash. Nice name. 8835. Render 4 hour and daily. All right, let's check out Render, RNDR. I guess we go to Coinbase for this thing. And, well, I almost wish I didn't look at it because another terrible chart. This is not helping with my hopium here. Fucking taking my hopium supply away. I guess the hopium here is that, all right, you are at, okay, let me just go over the weekly here. We'll just go over the weekly. You are at prior lows from this January 2024 rally, also the spike low from August 2024. You already have tested this region once, twice, and now thrice after just retesting it last week. If this thing doesn't break down here, it will break down at some point. If it doesn't break down below $3.50 in the short term right now, sure, it can have another bounce. It could easily get back up to like $6.50, $7. I do think it's just a matter of time though before it does break down. Not good. Monthly has a new lower low on a closing basis. Like the trend is down. You have a lower low and a lower high. So, do you rally first and then break down later, or do you just break down from here? It's a hard one. It's a hard one. What I feel very confident on is that it will break down at some point, but it doesn't take much for these shit coins to get like pretty epic bounces. So I wouldn't discount that first and then roll over later. But hey, if it breaks down from here, well, I think that was always going to be the case. It's going to break down. Just the question of when. Anthony J says SPX 6900. He specifies, which is good because usually that means something different. Another amazing technology and use case. People don't understand the value of community. Community is valuable. Don't get me wrong, man. That's one of the reasons why I do these live streams. It's fucking fun, man. It's fucking fun to create a community. But in terms of shitcoins, you don't have community members. You don't have community members. You have evangelists and bag holders. And but I don't think that this is it. And I know that there's that guy must stop Murad, who's big into the meme coins, big also into this thing as well. Look, I respect him. I just don't agree with him. At least he has well thought out ideas, but I think that all of these things are doomed. I've been saying that for a while. I think I called that this one was breaking down for the cycle back in February. This one has since massively fucking shattered that. Has hidden bearish divergence of multiple drives on the daily time frame. The only reason why I hesitate to say that this one's going to absolutely fucking shatter the floor in the short term is the exact same reason as the last one. It is around prior major lows. In fact, just your all-time lows. Just by the virtue of being there, a lot of the time you will bounce. And like I said, for a lot of these shitcoins, like they can be pretty epic bounces, but I don't think that the bounce is going to be anything resembling a reversal. I think best case, full hopium applied scenario, it'll get back around $1, but I don't think that you're going to see any new highs above 2025 highs. I mean, certainly not this cycle. I'd feel very, 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 very confident in saying that. But just like the last one, I do think it's just a matter of time before this one does break to new lows. It's just, does it bounce here or not first? I don't fucking know. I don't fucking know. Normalize, I don't know. All right. I see a couple more and then, yeah. Okay, cool. I think this is actually manageable. This is nice. Tobo says, Tesla daily weekly, want to buy more price targets. Let's check it out. I think last we looked at it, we were saying, hey, long term, long term, I like it, but short term, medium term, I don't like it. And good. Okay. Worked out. LARP line's working out there and coming back down. Now it has had a pretty epic retracement after retesting the highs. This is like the opposite scenario of what we just looked at on these shitcoins. This one is, or did, I mean, this was like a few months ago, retest all-time highs. And then, yeah, it's common that you're going to pull back from these regions. So in this case, let's see, did we hit any major fibs on the way down so far? Yeah, it is at the 618. I mean, if you're long-term, if you're long-term, like 5, 10, 15 years down the road, I don't hate buying actually around here. I think that's fine. And I believe we were looking at about 250 to 270 before, and it's already hit 270. So good enough. I mean, you don't need to be perfect in these things when you're thinking very, 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 very long term. Now, I do think it's going to, at minimum, bounce here in the short term. You know, it has had a pretty nasty downside move, maybe after one more retest of those lows, but I don't think it's going lower much in the short term. I do think it will get a bounce at least to like 315, 320. If things get really crazy, 350. But other than that, I wouldn't make too many assumptions on this one in the short term. Whoops, now I'm just drawing lines. Long term though, like long term, you know, I'm again talking multiple years out. Don't hate it. Well, see. Oh yeah, there's barely even enough information to populate a yearly chart. But yeah, I don't hate it. Now that I recognize it on the yearly chart, you have essentially retested the red moving average, that 5 exponential. It's very, very close there. It's just below 270. So I would say that that's probably good enough. And to me, very likely to at least bounce here. If it's ultra bullish, I guess it'll just reverse to new highs. But personally, I think that this one will take some time. It'll take some time before really trying another major upside move. You know, maybe something like this. I don't know. We'll see. But yeah, long term, still like it. If you're just talking about very long term investments, I don't hate buying it here, especially after a downside move like this. This is a 44% downside move. In stock market, I have a rule that I buy every 10% downside move. Again, I'm thinking 10, 20, 30 years down the road. These are not like get rich plays, shit like this. This is just compounding capital. That's how I think about it. So yeah. And yeah, this is a great bounce area right here. All major moving averages on daily, weekly, monthly, and quarterly coming in at the same region. Yeah. Give it a chance to bounce first. All right. We have no more paper. Hey, Krown, sold all my Bitcoin bags I held since 2022 at 90,000 and am now looking for my new entry spot. Well, fucking nice, man. You just traded that about as perfectly as you can. So you sold all your bags from 2022. So you bought in 2022. Very nice. That was hopefully later on in the year in 2022, but even then, your probably average price, I'm guessing, is like 20 to 25,000 bucks, and then you sold at 90. Fucking phenomenal trade. amazing, like amazing, just professionally done. Beautiful, fucking beautiful. Anyways, your question is, you're looking for a new entry on for spot. So very specific here. You like the 50-week moving average at 75. Yeah, I like low 70s as well, upper 60s. You know, if I'm again long term, I'm just going to buy down there just by the virtue of it coming down. Again, that is one of my long-term investment just strategies, I guess. So yeah, a lot of things coming in around there. You got the 377 on the daily at 75. You got the weekly 50 or 55, you know, both in mid to low 70s as well. You got the monthly, or no, you don't have a monthly here. You have monthly a little bit lower than that at around 67. Doesn't need to get exactly down there. You also have this prior high from March of 2024. I think at minimum, you're going to get a very fucking big bounce if it does get down around there. I really do. And, you know, if the bull market is still on, then that should be the low. That should be the low, and we really shouldn't be expecting any lower than that. So yeah, I just generally lean towards downside until we get those bullish signals that we looked at earlier on today's video and that we've been repeating, or that I'll try to repeat each and every video, at least that we've done for the past few days. All right, let's see. You put in limit orders. So yeah, again, it depends on your time preference and sort of your risk tolerance. But, you know, it sounds to me like you're thinking many years down the road. I don't hate it, to be honest. At least I'm doing something similar as well. Again, just for long-term holdings. I'm not talking about short-term trading. That's a different conversation, of course. Yeah, it was a brilliant trade. I 100% agree. All right. Let's see. Okay, what is going on here? Krown, these are critical months. Fed must print. It must. Economy is failing. It does feel like there's almost like a concerted effort to make the economy worse so that the Fed is forced into printing. But I don't know if that's a good situation to be in. Because inflation is still going up despite the economy worsening. So I think they need to first look. I'm no fucking macroeconomist, but in my brain, I would think first, maybe this is completely fucking off. I think first, you would actually need to deflate things a little bit more so that you can get interest rates down more naturally. Otherwise, you're going to have inflation going up like at an increasing rate, plus interest rates coming down, QE starting, like. And the economy is getting worse. So people are getting poorer. Things are getting more expensive relative to their boredom. And I mean, I don't know if that's a good strategy, to be honest, man. I really don't. All right. Hey, what's up, Fingless? Mr. Fingless is an OG of this cave at this point. He says, Krown, 2 chicken to go to Turkey. That's right. If anyone slagged his hair, he would just slap the shit out of them. That is exactly right, sir. And hope all is well, man. Couch Commander says, this is the best stream ever. Really? I don't know. All right. There's been some good ones in the past, sir. There's been some good ones in the past. Also, very nice avatar. I see you have the Balkan dwarf. Anyways, let's see. Yeah. Nikki Page says she's setting a 75,000 buy order. You know, it might bounce. It's very likely going to bounce around 75, but it could go down to 70 as well. I mean, just make sure that you can survive like an overshooting of this, because you know how markets are. They get very emotional. Stray wicks can go in all sorts of directions, especially in a market like this. I was hoping you'd be our Sith Lord. Very nice. Look, I'm from former Yugoslavia. We had hyperinflation in 1990, so be prepared. Bread and milk lines. Yeah, I'm not excited about that, but I think maybe the difference between the U.S. and Yugoslavia is Yugoslavia, I believe, was a part of the Russian Federation, meaning that they were communist, and America is just like pseudo-socialist. Little bit. But mostly capitalist as well. So I think it might be a little bit different. But hey, in fucking Finland here, I can tell you that, yeah, things are trending towards that direction. Like, it's crazy in Finland. The workers for like every fucking industry strike, and they coordinate these strikes all the time. So recently there was a like a grocery store strike. So hey, guess what? There's no fucking food in the grocery stores. There was also a strike for, I think, the airlines here in the airport. And what happens? All of your flights get canceled until the government decides to give them more pay, or their whoever their employer is decides to give them more pay. It's actually fucking insane here in Finland. It really is. It's like it's a perfect. You know how people always say that communism wasn't, real communism hasn't been actually implemented, and that's why it's still a good idea. Finland is, okay, it's not that close. Like I am exaggerating things here, but it is kind of close. It's definitely socialist. I mean, to put it that way. Jesus. Anyways. To be honest, I think the Tesla assessment needs to factor in American geopolitical stuff. Bro is running his company into the earth. I don't think typical assessments of this asset are the only factor for this one. Yeah, I mean, that's possible. It's possible. I don't stay up to date with stuff like that because I'm also not trading Tesla. I'm not investing in it. I like Elon Musk, but no, I don't invest in Tesla. I've actually never even touched it. Let's see. I am just reading through some of these comments over here. It looks like my other screen froze, so that's not good. Let's see. Pump fund drained retail liquidity and it's never coming back, says Danielson. Well, I don't know if it's never coming back, man. Don't underestimate people's inherent need and want to gamble on shit. To be honest, that has been a very consistent theme throughout humanity, and it's been even a consistent theme in the crypto sphere. I mean, you had that first with the ICOs in 2017, then you had DeFi in 2020, then you had NFTs in 2021, then you had memes this year, then you had memes last year, and then pump fund this year, or AI last year, I guess, as well. They'll always come back. There's always there's always new blood for a market like this. It's unfortunate, but it's just human nature. People love to fucking gamble. They really do. People love gambling. Like they don't even really care that much if they win or lose. Like they love the feeling of it. They love the emotions. They love the ritual, the literal ritual of doing it. Yana says, Krown man, TA on PP. We'll look at PP. I'm guessing that this is a meme that has a great chart and will be going to the moon. And now it will be going to the moon. And by the moon, I mean the center of the earth. Very similar to the last couple shitcoins that we looked at. This one, I guess, in slightly better position than the other ones. But, you're coming back down to these major lows that you saw from April 2024 and August 2024. A lot of the time, you're just going to bounce around these regions just because, those were prior lows. But just like all the other meme coins that we looked at, I think that this thing's topped certainly for this cycle, maybe for its foreseeable life period. But similar to the other meme coins as well, like I said, again, in the short term, don't underestimate the ability of this thing to put in like a pretty epic bounce. Although it is getting a lot of bearish signals down here. So I think it'll at least retest this area first at like 660,000, whatever the hell that number is, then bounce, and we'll just see how high the bounce gets. I just drew this in as a LARP line here. I'm not saying it's going to get this high. I think that's maybe a little bit too high, but yeah, you get the idea. All right. Chainlink also, do you own any? No, I don't own any. It's an interesting one. I've been watching it for a very long time. Chainlink, let's go to the monthly. I do think it will test the 55 at some point, probably this month as well, actually. And that is down 11.5 to $12. It's not that far from where it currently is at. But if there is going to be some hopium, my hopium would be predicated upon its ability to put in a higher low there compared to your 2024 lows. I do think that is possible. But of course, that does imply, another 20% downside move. Yeah. 20 or 30% downside move. I think 25 actually. Anyways, Dice the craps table. Yeah, there you go. Sucker born every minute, says Tobo. Yeah, again, it's not even a sucker. It really is human nature. Like we all love doing it to an extent. I mean, shit, that's one of the reasons why I'm sure many people, myself included, are traders. Like it is a form of gambling, 100%. Of course, it's a calculated gamble, or it should be a calculated gamble, but that part maybe not always true. But you know, that's one of the reasons why it's why it's really fucking addictive, to be honest. Valentino says, vibe in the market is so bad for so long. It's terrible. Is this the worst bull run ever? It's actually every bull run is the worst bull run ever because the prior one was always better, actually. So yeah, I'd say yes, it is the worst one ever. And you're going to continue to see the worst one ever as history goes on. Yeah. Solana, I'm actually curious to see Solana. What's up, Mr. Matthew Smead? Where's Solana over here? Yeah, Solana, as we've gone over for the past 3 weeks now, is the weakest of the big four. This was probably the easiest one to call to the downside. And, you know, I do think it's going to retest last Friday's low. Fuck, I mean, that is literally retracing all of last week's price action. I do think that this one is at some point coming back down to like 110, 115 region. And unless if there's a massively heroic reclaim of 165 by end of week, so Sunday, I look for this one to go lower. I mean, shit, if the monthly really plays out, then yeah, $100, but I'd just be looking at 110 to 115, very likely, maybe even $100, but yeah, if it did get around $100, whether that be 95 or 105, you know, somewhere around there, I'd at least be looking for a very big bounce there. I mean, that is the weekly 200 simple, so I don't like betting against that. But yeah, in the short term, I'm going to be bearish as long as it's one below Sunday's high. And if it literally just trades below last week's low, which is 125.5, I think that this one's going to shed another like $10-15 at least. So yeah, we'll see. Monthly. Ugly. Let's see over here. Monthly momentum, like purely nosedive. I think that this one's done for a very long time. I do think that this one is done for a long time. So big downside move. Okay, it doesn't need to be this far down, but just for example's sake, then probably a big bounce again later on within this year. You know, maybe it bounces like $200 again, but that's where I'd want to come back to this analysis and be like, okay, is this thing a lower high on the monthly or not? I guess we'll see. Let me bring the comments in over here. All right. Yes, we looked at Sol. How much will it cost me to get you to look at Ethereum Bitcoin? 10 nanos, sir. Let's check it out. I don't really have anything new to say about Ethereum Bitcoin. I think you're in a bouncy area right here. Can it retest the lows first before it bounces? Sure, this is a monthly chart. It can take a very long time to play out, obviously, but this one's been beat up so much. It's hit, again, a very important prior low over here. Almost always going to bounce. It did not, however, holy shit, it did not fulfill its momentum pivot coming into March. Wow. So this one continues down. Again, I don't think it's not going to take too much to get it to cross up here, but for fuck's sake, man, at some point, probably this year, you're going to see a bounce up towards like 3.1 to 3.25 million Satoshis. But yeah. All right, I'll read a couple more and then we'll call it a day. Krown, do you live in New York? Actually, I don't. I actually live in Finland. Oh, you're probably making a comment on the Finnish system. Yeah, could be in New York. I don't really know much about New York, to be honest. Bear Nutrition says, remember to give the like button a tap. I would appreciate it. It's all good though. Melania Solania was the top. Yeah, that in hindsight, that one was the most egregious. And I don't say this as like a Melania hater. I'm not a Melania hater or nothing like that. The person, the coin though, fucking what are you thinking? Like, you're already a billionaire. Like, what, you're trying to print a few more $1 million? Ruin your reputation? Like, why? This? What is the plan? Is there any plan behind this, or was it just like totally orchestrated? Do you lift and work on cardio like 5 days a week? What do you like to train? Yeah, I like to be in the gym at least 5, sometimes 6 days if I'm preparing for a fight. Yeah, I definitely like to train around midday. That's when I feel best. But right now I'm actually not feeling too hot. So don't think there's going to be a training session today. I think it's going to be a Kingdom Come Deliverance Day. Oh man, I'm going to fuck up this medieval town. I've been robbing and stealing and murdering all sorts of town folk in Kingdom Come. Those guys didn't see it coming. There were some very, very devious things done in the last couple of days. You can ask Elsa, but she will not repeat it for fear of her life. Game is amazing. It's actually fucking amazing. Let's see. Jonathan crosses with the weekly BBWP at lows and soon to expand, and weekly Stokes hard down. Surely probability suggests a larger downside move. You know, Jonathan Cross, I alluded to this earlier in the video about my Doomium. I guess we can show it right now. You're 100% right. That is my major concern for, you know, a big downside move here. I mean, like a further downside move here. The 5-day BBWP is already an expansive posturing. It's well above 25 percentile. Yes, it hasn't closed just yet. Yes, it won't close until Thursday night. But assuming Bitcoin doesn't bounce back up towards, let's say, $90,000 by then, that will confirm. And you know, you're usually looking at minimum a 25% move, at maximum about a 40, well, not maximum, but on average about a 40% move from the last previous high. So I'm actually curious what this would look like. 30% down puts you at around $70,000. So I'd hope it's on the lower end of that spectrum if it plays out. But again, have to wait until Thursday for this one to confirm. But as of right now, yeah. Unless the Bitcoin's back above 90, which is also the 5-day momentum pivot. Yeah, I'd have to again lean bearish here. Again, I lean bearish, but I don't think Bitcoin's going to come down like much further down than its current low. Like I said, low 70s to upper 60s would be completely fine. Anything below there, I start to really question the cycle. All right. Just reading a few more of these. Triple Q. Yeah, let's look at Triple Q. It's one that I also own as well. Where is it? There we go. I'm losing $500. I do think that this one has put in a swing high here. You see several reversal dildos in a row, shooting star, doji, shooting star again. It's already below the lows of all of these past few months with momentum heading down. I think that this is a swing high and you're going to come down for a swing low. And, that could be somewhere around 450 to 460 at least. But I'd be looking at that as an opportunity. I mean, that would fulfill my 10% downside rule. All right. Should we call it off there? Is this a hair transplantation channel or crypto? Well, it can be both, actually. It can be both indeed. Yeah. Okay. All right. I think there's just people arguing with each other. Anytime that you mention Trump, the Trump supporters get offended, and then also the Trump haters get offended. I have no idea how it works. I have no fucking idea how it works. I get equally berated from both sides, even though actually I probably do align with the Republican side like a little bit more. And certainly in the last election, I do think that was the better option. But like I said, it doesn't mean that I like everything that he's done. You can have a nuanced view, and we don't need to agree on everything. It's okay. It's okay to hear someone else's opinion, disagree, and just leave it be. Crazy fucking idea. You think the bull run is over, says Genome. As I've been saying, I wouldn't call it as of right now. I do think that it should at least have one more try to the upside later this year. Yeah, I do think it'll have another try to the upside later this year. But unless we see Bitcoin below November's low. If we see Bitcoin below November of 2024's low, I'm going to start to think, okay, is the cycle actually over? I mean, is everything actually changing now? Because that would be a real change of behavior. Bitcoin's never really come back down below a prior high in a bull market on a monthly time frame before. So like a swing high. I mean, obviously, it comes down below highs all the time, but swing high. You're not allowed to say Israel. Yeah, that one as well. It's like Jesus. Anyways, the Trump dump. Yes, actually, he likes Big Macs. Is Gaza the next Dubai? One Dubai is enough, man. One Dubai is enough. All right. Krown, Henry has come to see us. Yes, that is my exit. It is time to go wreak havoc on medieval Poland once again. And with that said, I want to thank everyone for joining on this live stream. It's a little bit airheaded here and there, just because I think I am dealing with the beginning onset of a sickness. But I think we got through this one. I think we got the most important points out as well, and we'll continue to update on this, on this very long thread of analysis now, as well as the conditions. I'll continue to remind from video to video, at least my minimum conditions to be, interested in long-term longs again, let's say. So yeah, that's what we'll end